Okay, it's Mutunhire. I'm back in the building, man, and as promised, this is now the Renegade Billionaire Crash Course on the path to a billion. And this is a crash course. That means we're gonna cover a lot of ground really, really quickly. And the idea is to help you set really massive goals in a very short amount of time, and be actually able to craft a realistic path for getting there. And attempting something like trying to build $1 billion net worth, um, that's a really challenging goal. Okay, it's not easy, it's not simple. I'm not a billionaire. I could probably not teach you how to be a billionaire. um, it's a challenging goal. I mean, people try that kind of stuff and it never works out for them. Um, so this is not. Don't take this like it's some kind of easy type thing that you're just gonna get in there, do a little bit of work, and you're gonna be a billionaire. Like, it doesn't happen like that in real life. And I know I joke that as a Zimbabwean, I was a billionaire once, but let's not kid ourselves, guys. As a actual billionaire in real dollars or real whatever currency you want to use, that's not easy. It takes time, and that's why I want you to think massive, but also I want you to think long time horizons. And if you think on a long time horizon, really there's no limit to what you can accomplish. Okay, so the other thing about this is I actually taught some of these principles in my course, the Renegade Billionaire Goal Setting Workshop. And, there'll be some kind of way that you can get it. But before we get into the actual material, because a lot of the material is actually going to be covered here, but just before we get into it, how you can get some of my stuff for free, I'm actually running a massive giveaway, a massive marketing voucher giveaway where I'm gonna give a lot of vouchers away, and I want there to be at least 1,000 winners of the all the materials that I will be giving away. And so there's gonna be I'm aiming to give away at least 1,000 copies of my ebook, Unleash the Ninja Version of Yourself, which kind of walks through some personal development fundamentals that will really help you if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to get to the next level, and you're trying to really build your business, or you're trying to develop yourself and kind of move from one place to another and get to that next level that you're aiming for. But there'll also be a lot of marketing programs and marketing courses and things like that that you can access. And so there'll be a link in the video description, um, or in the podcast description, where you can actually enter your email and you can be entered into the giveaway. But enough of that, guys. Let's get into the fun stuff. The path to a billion, Renegade Billionaire Crash Course. Okay, so like I said, this is massive. Like, this is a big goal. It's not gonna be easy, and so you're not gonna do it tomorrow. And actually, that's the first part. Is first of all, if you really want to build like a $1 billion net worth or something along those lines, guys, the first thing is everybody tells you to think big, but I don't think that's even enough. I don't think everybody is thinking big enough. You need to think. I say you need to think massive. Okay, massive. Like, um, think like think world scale. Okay, think like, look at brands like Coca-Cola or Pepsi. These guys think massive. They think world scale. If Coca-Cola is coming out with a product, they're not trying to get their friends to know about it. They're not trying to get even their town. I don't know, whatever headquarters. I guess Atlanta, Georgia, or something. They're not trying to get the people in Atlanta to know about it. They're trying to get the whole world, and that's kind of the sort of massive scale that you need to be thinking of. And also I actually have notes here because this is a pretty sizable crash course. And so you'll see me here and there referring to the actual notes because we have a lot to cover. Now the other thing, which is really what you need to kind of your frame of mind, is thinking massive. But the other part about this too is you really gotta be thinking on a long time horizon. Don't think like on 2 minute time frame. um, like social media conditions us to do. Like that's not gonna work. If you're going for like trying to build a $1 billion business, $1 billion net worth, that's never gonna work. You need to really be thinking long time horizons. You need to really be thinking, and the way I like to put this is you really want to be thinking on a 50-year time frame. And I hadn't really thought about 50-year time frames until I started really kind of seriously setting goals way back. I think it was probably 2016, and I just kind of started thinking out. And actually, in my book, Unleash the Ninja Version of Yourself, I kind of describe some of the processes, um, and some of the mindsets that kind of prompted me to just kind of start thinking a bit more kind of longer term. But when you think longer term, you can actually go for something more than whatever your current state is at the moment. Like you can actually go for something much bigger than anything you might ever have gone for in life. And so this is why you need to really think on a massive time horizon, think massive, but also think on a long time horizon. And this is also why you want to go in for your 50-year goal. So to reach whatever level of billionaire net worth you might want to get to, or if you want to build a business that does $1 billion in business or something like that, um, think about that goal in your head, okay? And think about 50 years of your life. Think about the next 50 years. Don't think about the next 10 years, the next 20 years. Most of us, unfortunately, I think about like a 5-year time horizon. When I look back at how I was thinking about goals way back in the day, I probably was just thinking about like a 3-year time span. Like, okay, what can I do this year? And what can I do next year? And what can I do the year after that? And to me, that seemed like an eternity. Like, okay, that's how far I can think. But it turns out you got a lot more ahead of you. You got 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Look at some of the guys that we look up to in business, like Warren Buffett, um, Charlie Munger. These guys are pretty advanced in age. And that means some of the goals that they have accomplished, for which they have become so famous, were not accomplished when they were kids. Those goals have been accomplished when these guys have become pretty old, and then they've been breaking all these business records and doing all this amazing stuff. So plan to be on the scene for a long time, and plan to play on the 50-year time horizon. So this is actually our first step now in actually setting goals. Is I want you to come up with a 50-year billionaire goal. What's that gonna be for you? Is it gonna be, I want to start like a hedge fund? I want to manage $10 billion in assets under management? Is it gonna be, I want to start a sports team in my hometown, and I want to you know eventually build it up to where it's doing $500 million in revenue every year, and it's worth 5-10 billion. So think about like what do you want to do over the next 50 years, and how does that interweave into a billionaire goal. And then the next step that we're gonna do is, you got this big goal, it takes 50 years, and at times it's gonna feel abstract. But when things get really tough in your life and in business, I want you to come back to this goal, and I want you to keep coming back to it, because think about it, obsess over it. It will keep you going. It will really power you through some dark moments. And those happen to any entrepreneur. in my own life, I've had plenty of those times where things have just seemed impossible, and I lost my motivation, things like that, and just kind of thinking about kind of those longer term time horizons has kind of kept me going a little bit more through those tougher times. But as good as that is, that's not nearly so practical for us to just go for the 50-year goal. Uh, and the whole process of goal achievement is we have to break things down. So ideally, write down your 50-year billionaire goal on a piece of paper or on a phone, somewhere where you can actually keep looking at it, ideally daily over time. And our second step is going to be break down that 50-year billionaire goal into a 25-year billionaire goal, which is going to be like, for you to get to that billionaire goal in 50 years time, in 25 years time, you kind of need to be halfway to that big goal. So that's going to be your 25-year billionaire goal, and I actually want you to write it down. And that's your 25-year billionaire goal. So if your original goal was going to be like, well, I want to be worth $1 billion in 50 years, and I want to be building a charity that takes care of kids in my neighborhood, in my hometown, and I want to have a sports team. Now, in 25 years' time, that means you need to be halfway to that, which is like a $500 million net worth, okay? So maybe your sports team needs to be at a certain size. That's half the size that it's ultimately gonna be in 50 years' time, but that's your 25-year billionaire goal. And then what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna break it down even more. So cut that 25-year goal in half, and you get what I call the 10-year billionaire goal. Now, 10 is not half of 25. But what it means is you want to be in 10 years' time halfway to your 25-year billionaire goal. And what that means is that means you would be a couple years ahead. So if you're supposed to be, say, at a $500 million net worth in 25 years, and if you manage to be halfway to that in 10 years, which is like $250 million, that means you're actually ahead by like a couple years, because you needed to be there at like the 12-year mark. But set it as a 10-year goal, because now you're trying to work in a little bit of an advantage, and you're trying to get ahead of the game a little bit. So you've cut down your 25-year billionaire goal into a 10-year billionaire goal that's halfway to that. And what we're going to do is we're going to break it down even further. So we're going to take that 10-year billionaire goal and cut it in half. Half of 10 is 5, and we're not going to do any funny gimmicks around this time. You just take the half and say, in 5 years' time, you need to be halfway to the 10-year billionaire goal. And this is all getting, what we're doing is we're breaking a really big goal into smaller chunks that are more practical and easier for us to think about. It's like if I say to you, like, how do you get to Timbuktu? And I say, like, from where you are right now, I want you to get to Timbuktu. If you just try to do it from where you are sitting or standing right now, you have no idea where Timbuktu is. But if I give you directions and I break it down step by step, I say, for example, okay, go outside. Now, that's easy. You know where outside is. You simply head right there. Next step, I say, like, 10 right or 10 left, head into town, grab this bus, grab that, get on this plane. By breaking it down into such easy to do steps, simple steps, you can actually get to Timbuktu. Unlike if you just try to go to Timbuktu right away, which is what a lot of us try to do with even really big goals, but you really got to break it down. And then now this is where the rubber actually meets the road. Is we're going to break down that 5-year billionaire goal even smaller, and we're gonna go down all the way to the 1 year billionaire goal. And this is where the rubber really meets the road. And the question you gotta ask yourself is a really important question here is, what do I gotta do today and over the next 12 months, over the next 1 year, for me to be a billionaire in 50 years' time? Now, for example, let's say like part of my plan was I want to be a billionaire, and the way I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna go through and be CEO of a big Fortune 500 company like Ford or like GM, one of those. Then a really good goal for me to do over the next 12 months, the next 1 year, for me to get there in 50 years might be, maybe I need to um, go and study at a business school. Maybe I need to get an MBA. And that might be a really good step for a lot of, because if you want to be a CEO, for example, then you kind of need, a lot of times they want you to have an MBA and things like that. Now, if they are on the other side of that, you are a music guy like Kanye West, you're like, no, forget about the MBAs and things. I just want to start a record label and things like that. Then you might want to start over the next 12 months. Maybe what you need to do is you need to start learning how to make beats and how to produce. So that might be exactly what you need to do. So your next 1 year path, and the part and the way that you set that goal for what you want to accomplish for the 1 year is gonna be different based on what particular path you want to take to that billion. And now let's actually talk about the actual paths that you can take, because there are multiple paths to get to like $1 billion net worth. Um, so a really popular path that everybody talks about in the media is becoming an investor, like Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, and you see a lot of investment managers that have really made it big and made a lot of money. This is a good billionaire path, and if you like numbers and math and finance, I suggest you really look into that pathway. Another pathway that's become really popular now is the pathway of the kind of like the entertainer. Like you see a lot of musicians, kind of like Jay-Z, the Kanye West, people like that. So if you're into entertaining, rap, hip hop and things like that, then you might want to look into that path if you got the kind of MC type talent. Another path is becoming a sportsman. Like look at LeBron James, look at Roger Federer. These guys, are amazing $1 billion net worths because their work gets in front of a lot of people, and they have a lot of talent. So if you're athletic, that's a part that you really want to look into. The other part is also like the corporate part. Now, a lot of entrepreneurs don't like the corporate part because they look down on it, but it's actually a really good part if you want to get to a billion. Like if you become CEO of a major corporation like McDonald's or Apple or Google or one of these really well-to-do companies, then you can generate a lot of value, and you too can be a billionaire one day. There are a lot of like bank CEOs. There are a lot of corporate CEOs that have really made a lot of money and also become billionaires along that path. Just look at Steve Ballmer, former Microsoft CEO. So that's a really good path to a billion. The last path, and this path works for you if you don't fit into any of these other categories. Maybe you don't have a lot of special music or sports talent. You're not super athletic. You're not a super corporate type MBA character. Um, Maybe you're like a dropout and things like that. So this path is really welcoming to a lot of different characters, and it's my favorite path, and that's the path of entrepreneurship. And so that's starting a business and growing it worldwide and scaling that worldwide. And so think about now with each of these billionaire paths, whichever one you've decided to take, think about what do you need to do this year to put yourself on the path. And that might be going to school, going back to school. Like it could be learning the skill. It could be trying to get the promotion. It could be trying to improve your game if you're like a basketball player or any of these other paths. And then that's what you're gonna do for your 1 year billionaire goal is you want to put yourself in the direction. Think of like a plane taking off, right? It takes off, gets in the air, and then soon after the pilot sets the direction. Like we got up, however, whichever way it was, but now it's time to head to Timbuktu, and that the direction is, and he sets the direction. So you gotta set the direction over the next 1 year. And let's talk a little bit about like your ideal day. So your ideal day, this is a concept I came up with that talks about what do you really need to do to put yourself in the direction. For example, here are some ways to think about it. If I said like I wanna become like let's say I said I wanted to become like a nuclear physicist or something like that, and I was gonna be like an inventor, and that's how I was gonna get to a billion. Um, and I say like I gotta learn this nuclear physics. So your ideal day is simply what are the things that you need to do and you need to repeat on a daily basis. That will mean that over the next 12 months, if you just do them for 12 months, you're gonna accomplish your 1 year billionaire goal. And that might be maybe I need to be enrolled in some kind of school and I need to study uh, these 4 physics classes, and so I need to be doing my study every day. I need to be doing my exercises, my homework, all this stuff. Another example, if my goal was to say it's like a fitness goal, I need to hit a certain target where maybe I'm trying to get to a certain fat percentage or something like that. Then what I need to repeat every day might be I need to hit the gym for X amount of time every day. So that becomes your ideal day. You need to build your ideal day to get where you want to get to in 1 year. And this is really important because if you don't schedule your ideal day and you don't actually do these things that should be in your ideal day, you might talk a big game, but after 12 months, you won't be anywhere near your 1 year billionaire goal, let alone the 50-year billionaire goal. So the ideal day is really how you take these lofty kind of, highfalutin things and you actually make them practical in day-to-day living. Okay, and let's talk a little bit about what I call the billionaire metagame. And the metagame is simply the causes behind the effects that you see. And I like to give an example from World War II. So Adolf Hitler, the German dictator, uh, got off to a really good start against the Soviet Union because he had really good technology. And he swept in with his blitzkrieg. And the German army was really strong. It was one of the historically strongest armies ever. But what actually happened with Adolf Hitler was that he got bogged down, kind of taking over a lot of Soviet territories and killing a lot of Soviet soldiers, which to him showed that he was winning the war. But what he did not realize and did not focus on was that to actually win the war, what he needed to do was to get to Moscow and destroy the leadership and break the fighting spirit of the Soviet armies and establish political control over the territory and the country, and then he could have won. But what the Soviets actually did was they got him bogged down because he was so easily distracted. He would come in, you'd see these nice cities over there, and then he would go over there to take them over and fight them and kill. And so he got bogged down winning these battles, by the way. But what this was actually doing was it was actually giving time to the Soviets where they could tinker on their own technology, and they finally perfected it, and they were actually vastly improving the quality of their technology and the quantity to where it was just a matter of time. If he kept on kind of dawdling around like that, eventually they were gonna come out with massive armies and with a huge numerical and quality advantage. So what they really had to do was kind of play for time and keep Hitler occupied, winning all these battles and killing all these people, and eventually they would catch up with him. And that's exactly what happened. Is he eventually lost the war because he won the wrong battles. And so what this really means for you and your 50-year billionaire goal is think back to that ideal day. If you focus on the wrong actions, like if you want to, let's say your path is to be this musician, or your path is to be a basketball player or an athlete, and you focus too much on other things like becoming like a fashion influencer, going to parties and all this, you might win those irrelevant battles that have nothing to do with winning the war, and you will actually lose the actual war. So you will win the battles, but you will lose the war. This is why you gotta think about focusing your ideal day around exactly the activities that will take you along to your 1-year billionaire goal and along all the way to your 50-year billionaire goal. And so to close, let me just give you some 5 billionaires that I like to study and that you might also study. But there are a lot of billionaires out there, and I suggest you just study whoever you think, looking around in the press or, looking at books, you can find their stories to inspire you. First, of course, is Charlie Munger. Charlie is the investment manager and a partner of Warren Buffett, and he's one of my favorite billionaires for sure. And there are a lot of lessons from him, like learning about like patience, becoming a learning machine, always be improving yourself, and read a lot of books. So those are just some tips that come to mind when I think of Charlie Munger, and I really recommend him for you to study as well. The second billionaire I like to study is Grant Cardone. He's a commonly thought of as a sales guru, but he's a real estate investor, and there are a lot of lessons from Grant Cardone, like how to motivate yourself and pick yourself up from rock bottom. How to think 10x, so think really massive. Um, how to build a worldwide brand and become really the top in your industry. There are a lot of really good lessons. I highly recommend you also look into Grant Cardone. The next billionaire on my list here is Donald Trump, a very controversial billionaire. Because because of all the politics around Donald Trump. He's a he's a Republican. He's polarizing, to say the least. But before he became a politician, he was a businessman, and he had made billions in business as well as in real estate. And so some of the lessons that you learn from studying Donald Trump will actually help you, like, thinking really, really massive. I think he's always thought really, really big. Even running for president, I think a lot of people didn't think he could do that. But that shows you just how massive he was thinking. You gotta be out of your mind at least a little bit to want even think of running for president. And it's lucky that he won for him. And look how far you can go. Like if you just think massive enough, even you can also be president of your country, or at least you might be a billionaire. And finally, the other two billionaires I like to study as well are Elon Musk, um, super innovative, always on the cutting edge of technology, and always willing to teach himself something new. Like he says that he learned rocket science from books, and these are books that probably anybody could find in some big library somewhere. So really, there is no excuse for not going all the way to the top. And the final billionaire, of course, is Tilman Fertitta, the restaurateur, and a super cool guy. And when I think of Tilman Fertitta, I think of class. Where Donald Trump might be brash and all this, I think of Tillman as kind of like more classy, and um, so there might be a bit of culture that you can learn from him. And I think his style definitely, I appreciate that more than Donald's style. Although to be honest, I can't take nothing away from Donald Trump's accomplishments as a businessman. The Trump brand, the Trump hotels, the Trump towers, that has gone a long way. And so if you're an entrepreneur, you gotta learn from all kinds of people, the people that are on this side of the political spectrum or that side. So there are a lot of lessons. Um, and that brings us to the end of this billionaire crash course. And I hope you guys learned a lot, and you really write all these goals down. You actually start reviewing them on a daily basis, set your ideal day, and actually start taking all the actions to get to that 1 year billionaire goal and all the other billionaire goals along the way, all the way to the 50-year billionaire goal. Now, if you're looking for ways to grow your business, you can also take my free solopreneur bootcamp, and the link for that will also be in the description.